Friends, good evening to all of you. Very nice to meet all of you. Greetings. You are smiling, very good. Nice to see you are all smiling at the end of the seminar, you know. You had third day today, isn't it? Still your spirit is very high. Congratulations. First, I would like to greet respected friend, Vice Chancellor, Indira Gandhi National Open University, and Professor, that is Professor V.N. Rajshekhara Pillai, Mr. Dr. M.P. Narayan, Dr. Lempo Thakur, and Dr. Taizir Al-Nomi, and Dr. Ravi Gupta, and all of you friends, my greetings. I have come on the last day and the last session, so I try to understand what all the things you have discussed. And would you like to say what important thing you got it? No, you don't want to say. Don't want to say that? Any one of you? One good thing you got today, after all the meetings. Yeah. Education, that's the message you got. Education is happening. Okay, very good, very nice. Yes. Anybody else? Just like that? Yeah. Eh? Huh? Anyway, what I understood from various proceedings, I am sure all of you had a very fruitful discussion during the last 3 days. From the face, I understand that. I saw a number of recommendations, and I was sent to a recommendation pertaining to the education skill development, important, innovating and creating a new knowledge, connectivity among institutions with people, another important area, expansion of education, implementing strategies for right to education, a self-evaluation system, public-private partnership model for enhancing the effectiveness of education, sharing of best practices among and between institutions, that's why you have all assembled, global participation in education development, upgrading the qualities of the teachers and building a sound education infrastructure. That's a big requirement. In fact, these recommendations should be studied by the governments and culminate in time-bound actions. I congratulate all the participants and the organizers of this World Education Summit for the excellent work what they have done. Okay, friends? Now, particularly, I went through some of the papers present in the summit. The organizers sent me some papers. And they indicate considerable research is going on throughout the world for improving the quality of education provided to the youth. Particularly one paper I saw, Mr. Peter Moselius and his Peter Moselius here? Mr. Peter Moselius and his co-authors have studied the impact on formal learning in primary school education by providing 1 laptop per child. And this is equivalent to one system. Somewhere in village in Bangalore, in Karnataka, I saw the school, primary school got a computer, the number of computers, and the dropouts it is reduced. The team has found out there has been a noticeable impact among the students on formal learning in subjects like mathematics and English through this process. It's a good point, and we must learn that. There is another paper presented by Devashish Mondal and Subhadas Malik, and on the topic beyond pen and paper tests. Who is that? Is here? Beyond pen and paper test. This paper proposes a project-based evaluation system at the primary school and at middle school level where a child is rewarded for multiple intelligence. I like this idea. We have to find such innovative techniques for the evaluation which is not creating a threatening environment for the student as it happens today in the board examinations. Okay, friends, with this, I will go to the topic, what I'm going to talk to you. I am delighted to give the keynote address at the final session of the first World Education Summit organized by the Indira Gandhi National Open University Center for Science Development and Media Studies and Gillette Techno Media Private Limited. My greetings to all of you. I particularly greet the distinguished guests who come from various countries to participate and share their views in this World Education Summit. I am happy to know that the summit has become a single platform for discussing all aspects of school education, higher education, skill development, and vocational education needed for the empowerment of societies where all the stakeholders concerned with the development of education are present. I am sure the deliberation of the summit has resulted in evolution of policies, tools, and methods of learning for realizing the goals of education for all in a time-bound manner. I have a message for the summit participants. While India should be open to sharing of expertise and experience available in many nations, it should be remembered that it has 600 million youth, and hence Indian policy on education and training has to be to walk on its own shadow. Because we have to manage 600 million people education. That means India has to evolve a unique system of education with employability as focus, instead of production of a large number of graduate secondary school personnel. This approach of education is also applicable for distance education programs of the nation and other nations. Hence, friends, I would like to share a few thoughts during this validity session on my subject of discussion in the next 15 minutes. Education system should generate employment generators and not employment seekers alone. This is the topic. Is okay? This topic is okay? You like it? Only if you say yes, I will do. Okay. Okay. Now, first I am going to talk to you the employment and education. Presently, our university education system is contributing 3 million graduates and postgraduates every year. And 7 million students after their secondary school education. In 10th and 12th, they stop. 10th and 12th class, they stop. About 7 million students every year. And seek employment every year. That is nearly 10 million youth of graduate secondary school students. Nearly 10 million youth are injected into the society every year seeking employment. But they are not equipped with the skill in the case of a secondary education, expertise in the case of higher education, which is needed by the industrial market or the user. Thus, there is a large gap in the availability of an employable skill. For example, as per the NASCOM and the McKinsey report, it is estimated that the IT, ITS and PPO sector alone will need 9 million direct jobs and 6 million indirect jobs in construction, retail, transportation within the decade, whereas we do not have such capacity in the country to generate this number, which will be acceptable to the three sectors of economy. Similarly, in the case of a nursing professional, India is in process of improving the healthcare services, which will need additional 0.5 million nurses and paramedical staff. As per the latest report, worldwide requirement for the nurses are estimated to be over 1 million within the next few years. Presently in India, about 50,000 nurses qualify every year. In the small scale sector presently, 12 million units are employing around 28 million people. Many of them are unregistered units. There's a need to bring all the units under the registered category so that all the people could be provided benefits accordingly. At present, the small scale industries contribute to an export of over $30 billion each year, which is expected to increase over $50 billion within the next 5 years. This will require addition of nearly 28 billion people within 5 years with variety of skills in garments, processed foods, pharma, electronic, precision engineering, and cosmetic products. How to bridge this gap between availability and requirement in the globalized economy? To bridge the gap, an interface is needed between the education system and the needs of three sectors of the economy. At present, India has 600 million youth, 600 million youth, 600 million youth under the age and around the age of 25, which will continuously be growing till the year 2050. During this period, India needs a large number of talented youth with higher education for the task of knowledge acquisition, knowledge imparting, and knowledge creation, knowledge sharing towards national development missions. The next area I thought of talking to you, what is called global human resource cadre. I am proposing this, global human resource cadre. Keeping the above seen in mind, the universities and school education system need to create two cadres of personnel. Number one, a global cadre of skilled youth with specific knowledge of special skills. Number two, another global cadre of youth with a higher education with special expertise. These two cadres should be required not only for powering the manufacturing and service sector of India, but also fulfilling the skilled human resource requirement globally. Thus, the universities and secondary school education system will have to work towards increasing the throughput of the university education system from the existing 11% to 15% by the year 2015, 20% by the year 2020, 25% by the year 2025, and 30% by the year 2030. The graduates who come out of the universities need to have a specialization linked to the employment potential in all the three sectors of the economy. I would recommend that among the graduates coming out from various universities, 90% have to have inbuilt training as a part of the graduation program for taking up assignment in industrial service sector and agriculture management. The remaining 10% of the graduate may opt for a research and teaching. The skill-oriented education category, which may be around 30% of the overall population by 2030, which will have a people with world-class skill set in areas such as food processing, construction, carpentry, electrical system, repair of mechanical system, fashion design, paralegal, paramedical, accountancy, sales and marketing, software, hardware maintenance, and service, software quality and assurance, quality assurance personnel. Skill development. I was recently going through an article in The Economist, which talked about the growing strength of the Indian workforce. The article says that the next 10 years, out of every 10 new workers around the world, 3 would be Indians. This workforce will be spread across the different sectors of the economy and involved in a variety of services. The education system should be so designed that 25% of the available time is utilized for imparting internationally competitive skills to the student, which they are studying in the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th class. This can be complemented with 1 year of higher level skill training after the completing the 12th class. That means they are studying when they are 10th class, 11th class, 12th class. Such an education system will enable generation of a large number of skilled workforce in a time-bound manner. While the imparting skill, care has to be taken to ensure that the skilled manpower is matched to the skill requirement of the particular sector of the economy and the geographic location to prevent infructuous movement. Such an approach will enable higher productivity, which in turn will result in better competitiveness. Finally, our education system must also ensure that all the remaining people should at least have a secondary school qualification with training for employment in agriculture or service sector. Now, I am going to talk to you what is called evolution of a national policy with reference to India. A national policy education system must also ensure that all the remaining people should at least have a secondary school qualification with training for employment in agriculture or service sector. Now, I am going to talk to you what is called evolution of a national policy with reference to India. A national policy for creating a global human development cadre for India can be evolved through a national team drawing experts from multiple ministries, including education system, experts from the three sectors of the economy, and various professional associations and societies. The evolution of such a policy in a time-bound manner will generate quality and knowledge and skills needed by all sectors of Indian economy and globally employable human resources. The aim of the education system should be to create employment generators rather than employment seekers apart from building a research capacity. Now, friends, I would like to say a few words on employment generation through entrepreneurship. A three-pronged strategy is needed to make education more attractive, make it skill important, and simultaneously create employment potential. How to do that? Firstly, the education system should highlight the importance of entrepreneurship and prepare the student to get oriented towards setting up of enterprises which will provide them creativity, freedom, and the ability to generate wealth. Diversity of skills and perseverance in work makes an entrepreneur. You should be taught to all the students. In addition, college syllabus, even for arts, science, and commerce courses, should include topics and practicals where such entrepreneurship is possible. Secondly, the banking system should provide venture capital right from the every village level to the prospective entrepreneurs for undertaking new, small, and big enterprises. When I studied the performance of ICICI Venture, I found few entrepreneurs have increased their profitability many times in a less than 7 years, generating thousands of direct jobs and 10,000 of indirect jobs. We need a large number of such venture capital institutions who can take risk and promote entrepreneurs. This education system can bring out the success stories in the form of a document highlighting venture capital funding and the employment generation opportunities across the world. Thirdly, the entrepreneurs have to produce the competitive products for becoming successful in their mission. The experts here may like to study the role of education in improving the competitiveness index rating of the country to within the 10 ranks. Now I would like to talk about capacity building through education. Capacity building through education. When the students come out of the education institution, certain capacities are required to be built in them to deal with the real world, particularly to grow in their professional career and participate in the national development. I suggest that the ingredients for capacity building must be embedded right from the beginning of the student's life from primary education to the higher education. A good educational model is the need of the hour to ensure that the students develop as a enlightened citizen and also participate in the national development missions. For participating in the nation building task, the capacities required to be built among the students, the capacity required to be built among the students in their formative years for the educational systems they are the capacity for research or inquiry, the capacity for creativity and innovation, the capacity to use high technology, the capacity for entrepreneurial leadership, and the capacity for moral leadership. These are the qualities education system build on the student. Let us see what is research and inquiry. The 21st century, present century, about the management of all the knowledge and information we have generated and the value addition we could bring to it. We must give our students the skills with which they find a way through sea of knowledge that we have created and continue with lifelong learning. Today we are empowered by technology to teach ourselves beyond classroom and become lifelong learners. This is indeed required for sustained economic development of the nation and also individual prosperity. The next one, creativity and innovation. The management of our knowledge in the 21st century is beyond the capacity of a single individual. The amount of information that we have around is overwhelming. The management of knowledge, therefore, must move out of the realm of the individual and shift into the realm of networked groups. The student must learn how to manage knowledge collectively and to work in multidisciplinary teams. When the information is networked, the power and utility of the information grows multifold, as predicted by Metcalfe's law. As an information that is static does not grow. In the new digital economy, information that is circulated across the enterprise creates innovation and eventually contribute to the national wealth. The third one is capacity to use high technology. You have studied yesterday. Every student in our school and college should be brought in contact with technology to aid their learning process. Educational institutions should be equipped with adequate computing equipment, laboratory equipment, internet facility with high bandwidth connectivity, and provide an environment for the student to enhance their learning ability. In the midst of all the technological innovation and revolution, we cannot think that the role of the teachers will be diminished. In fact, the teacher will become even more important, and the whole world of education will become a teacher assistant and would help in teleporting the best teacher to every nook and corner of the country and propagate the knowledge. The teacher becomes a facilitator and knowledge manager. For full utilization of the available connectivities through satellite, high bandwidth optical fiber communication in conjunction with the technology like WiMAX, the most critical aspect is the availability of quality content. I would suggest all the experts here to address this important issue and evolve a time-bound action plan so that the quality content is made available at the nodal point for access by the student, teachers, and desiring learners. The fourth point I'm going to talk to you, entrepreneurship. The aptitude for entrepreneurship should be cultivated right from the beginning and in the educational environment, both in the schools and colleges. We must teach our students to take calculated risk for the sake of larger gain, but within the ethos of good business. They should also cultivate their disposition to do things right. The inner being must be illuminated with righteousness. This capacity will enable them to take challenging tasks. The last one is moral leadership. Moral leadership involves two aspects. First, it requires the ability to have a compelling and powerful dreams of or visions of human betterment. Moral leadership requires a disposition to do the right thing and influence others also to do the right things. There is a need for inquisition of moral science class as a part of the education in all the schools and colleges, including the professional colleges. This is essential for promotion of value-based education leading to enlightened citizenship. For building a capacity, it is essential to increase the teacher-student ratio, improve the quality of teachers, provide continuous methods for upgradation, and provide them with technology aid for becoming lifelong autonomous learners. I am sure the educational experts and policymakers may have incorporated these factors in capacity building program based on their experience. So far, friends, we have discussed about the education scene in our country, the necessity of global human resource cadre leading to productive employment generation, and the necessity of capacity building among the students to meet the demand in the global competitive environment. Fundamental to all these things is imparting quality and value-based education in the schools and colleges. Particularly, primary education is a very important creative component in the pursuit of higher education and capacity building. Quality input to higher education leads to generation of a quality human resource. Here, I would like to share with you my experience while I was in college long ago, 1950 to 54. Education value system. I remember the lecture given by the highest authority of Jesuit institution, Reverend Father Rector Kalathil of St. Joseph's College, Tiruchirappalli, Tamil Nadu, Southern India. Every week, on Monday, he will take a class for an hour for all students, for arts, humanity, and science students. Every week on Monday, he will take a class for an hour. He used to talk about a good human being, present and past, and what makes a good human being. In this class, he used to give lectures on personalities such as Buddha, Confucius, Saint Augustine, Khalifa Omar, Mahatma Gandhi, Einstein, Abraham Lincoln, and moral stories linked to our civilization heritage. In the moral science class, Father Kalathil used to highlight the best aspect of how the great personalities have been evolved as a good human beings through parental care, teaching, and companionship of great books. Even though these lessons were given to me in 1950s during my college days, they inspire me even today. It is essential that in the schools and colleges, irrespective of science, humanities, engineering, lectures are given by great teachers of the institution once in a week for 1 hour on civilization, heritage, and good human beings. This may be called as a moral science class that will elevate the young mind to love the country, to love the other human beings, and elevate them to higher planes. I talked about this model in my address to the European Parliament with members drawn from 27 countries. In some friends, in some inquiry, creativity, technology, entrepreneurial, and moral leadership are the 5 capacities required to be built through the education process. If we develop in all our students these 5 capacities, we will produce autonomous learner, a self-directed, a self-controlled, lifelong learner who will have the capacity to both respect authority at the same time is capable of questioning the authority in appropriate manner. These are the leaders who would work together as self-organizing network and transform any nation into a developed nation in a time-bound manner. Next area I would like to talk about. Now, friends, I'm going to talk about, finally, I would like conclusion. How do I conclude? Ultimately, education in its real sense is the pursuit of truth. Education is in real sense is the pursuit of truth. It is an endless journey through knowledge and enlightenment. Such a journey opens up new vistas of development of humanism where there's no scope nor room for pettiness, disharmony, jealousy, hatred, or enmity. It transforms a human being into a wholesome whole, a noble soul, and an asset to the universe. Universal brotherhood, it is in a true sense becomes the sheet anchor for such education. Real education enhances the dignity of human being and increases his or her self-respect. If only the real sense of education could be realized by each individual and carried forward in every field of human activity, the world will be so much better place to live in. At this stage, I would like to recall wise words of a great teacher, Acharya Sandideva of 8th century in Nalanda University, very famous university in 8th century, and he was a professor there in the Nalanda University, Sandideva. His views on education was, he says, Acharya Sanjideva says, may the right education be a protector for those without one. May the right education be a protector for those without one, and guide for all travelers on the way, travelers of education. May the right education be a bridge, a boat, and a ship for all who wish to cross the ocean of life. This is the 8th century professor from the university. I am sure the proceedings of World Education Summit will provide detailed guidelines for realizing the goals which are mentioned above by various governments of participating countries. Concentrated action by the policymakers, educationists, academia, and research will enable the nation to provide quality education to all the eligible students through Education for All program, leading to the creation of a global knowledge society. My best wishes to all the participants, success in their education mission, which is vital for the prosperity, peace, and harmony of every nation. May God bless you all, friends. Now, my lecture is in my website, www.abdulkalam.com. Okay? If you have any question, you can